Just one big joke. It's a fucked up world. Here we are in. I ain't going nowhere.
Whatever. And she says that as we start to the show. Welcome to the Reason Reborn, episode 20. God, where are we on now? 24. We're moving along here. That's good. Like what? Almost a half a year of episodes. Yay, mazel tov. Welcome. Hope you guys have enjoyed the previous episodes. By the way, you'll have an episode of a podcast that you'll really enjoy because we're here with our special guest Katina from His Point, Her View, and she had one hell of an experience on our recording before we recorded this. Just to let you know. Say hi to the people, Katina.
Hello.
She's probably mad at me because, yeah.
I'm praying for him because he's the devil.
I am not the devil.
Close.
I'm, as you would say, I'm a saint. Okay. All right. And also, we have the ever so sexy and delicious CardiacSumo. Say hi to them.
Oh shit! Was that?
You don't have to set you up, sir.
I was not expecting my name to come at the end of that description, but thanks. As an atheist, I'm afraid I can't pray for you.
But, the ladies love you.
Sure. I'm afraid I can't pray for you, but I'll just accept you as the asshole you are and keep it moving.
And I appreciate that because you should accept me because I'm a great person. Unlike how some people feel like I'm not. Yeah.
I wonder how he's gonna feel once he sees that episode. I want to know if he feels the same way.
If I still feel that he's an asshole, like
no, you're gonna always think I'm an asshole.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna feel that way.
Whatever. Right.
Most definitely.
Whatever. So let's just go ahead and dive into these topics because it's getting late. I've recorded a podcast already for what? God, we went on 2.5 hours.
Yep.
Me and my shenanigans. I am very. You know what? I have to admit, I am kind of fucked up. And if it feels like I'm building suspense, I am because you really need to watch this cardiac. You're gonna fucking be like, dude, what's wrong with you?
I'll do that instead of programming tomorrow.
Yeah, that work.
I wasn't gonna fix it anyway.
Exactly. So why the fuck do any work? Just watch the podcast. And like and favorite all that shit from Wise Guy.
I like to leave shit broken until I get a raise. Yeah. Technically, I got a raise like the other day.
See, that's why we get along because you like to leave shit broken. I like to break people. Like I broke her.
Dark.
Yep, you definitely. I don't even want to say this phrase because of what just went down, but yeah, you definitely popped my cherry on that one. Definitely.
Yeah. Yes, it's a good bit. All right, so speaking of popping cherries, President Trump has had a week.
That's a hell of a segue. Oh man!
Again, I have to fuck with y'all. You know me.
Do not put that glorious title in front of negative 45's name. You know better.
And to be fair, he didn't pop a cherry. Stormy Daniels' cherry got popped a hell of a long time. But so let's just go to the biggest thing that's going on right now.
I think she popped his.
No, because remember his wife was pregnant at the time. So
no, I think she popped his in this instance.
I don't know because I feel like he's had other points. No, he did have other points before.
No, I'm saying in what's going down now.
Politically speaking, his cherry is popped, broken,
to shreds,
battered,
out of there.
Like just it'll never ever have a chance of growing back.
It's going down in the White House and not in the good way.
Oh, most definitely. So biggest news, of course, is that Trump's personal lawyer, Michael Cohen, has been raided by the FBI. They have seized several different documents. They also seized his phone. This is what I found out before we started recording. I forgot to mention that before we started recording, Katina. There was an article that came out like as soon as he opened the door, they grabbed his cell phone out of his hand. So they have his cell phone They have his cell phone information. They actually had a warrant to seize that, as well as business records of him and clients and things like that. Speculation is they seized it to look for connections between the payments of Stormy Daniels and Sarah McDougal. That's her name.
Mm-hmm.
And possibly other women that Trump may have had him pay out before the campaign to keep them quiet.
Smart.
So, all right, I'm gonna start with you, Cardiac, because me and you haven't talked about this. What is your take on this whole situation?
I guess first a clarifying point, because I've been seeing this since that news broke that Mueller can't do this. I'm pretty sure it wasn't Mueller's team. I'm pretty sure he gave a recommendation to do this.
Yeah, and then really quick, it was actually from who did you say did it, Katina? The team that did it?
Oh, because it was the New York Times. It was. I'll find it. Just hold on, because I was like, "Hey, come through." Yeah. Oh, it was on my computer. Hold on.
I do want to make that clarifying point because Mueller gets attacked a lot.
Yeah, and I found it funny that that's the first thing he went to was like this was just all on them. When one thing I heard while they were having a discussion about it on CNN is that Michael Cohen has been under investigation by the state of New York for other practices. So the odd chance that this is not connected necessarily to Mueller is very, very high because this guy has actually had issues with the law and the way he practices law.
Yeah, that's the second point. It's not like this guy is known, has the best reputation out here in these legal streets. He's pretty fucking seedy, and he has a weird, close family-style relationship with the Trump family, and it is odd to hear about the president's personal lawyer being, pursued this way, but what else is new in this administration?
Yeah, and that's the sad thing that you could say that what else is new in that this is status quo. Did you find it, Katina?
I'm looking. The only thing that it says is that the agents of the FBI, but I'm still looking because whoever these other people are, they're not fucking around with 45.
But another thing we talked about it on our podcast that was interesting is that the warrant was actually signed by a federal judge that Trump appointed.
Sure.
Which, he went on this whole rant about how the FBI is basically attacking lawyer-client privilege and how this is a witch hunt and how all of that. And it's like, your man just set you up because he approved of this. You can try to go after like Rosenstein and Mueller all you want, but you hired this guy to be a federal judge, and this federal judge agreed with that your lawyer needed to be rated. So what does he say about and I find it funny he didn't say anything about that.
You might be mad, but this might be an unfair interpretation of the fact that he didn't say anything about it, but I feel like he probably just doesn't understand that point. That's why he doesn't seem to appreciate and understand the system of checks and balances we have. He doesn't accept that there was probable cause to do this. It wasn't just because people don't like him. He doesn't accept that they had to provide, substantial arguments, substantial evidence for why that they needed to be able to do this and present that to a judge who had to approve it. So he doesn't appreciate the process. He thinks people can just do what they want because I guess he generally gets away with doing what he wants. So
I told you that, Mike.
Yeah, no, I was just about to say, Katina, you made this point about how he views. If you want, you can make the point again, please, because I believe that you both are right, especially you, Katina, because I really do feel like he feels the way that you said he feels.
Well, what I said was simply that he once he ran for president and won, his viewpoint was not of a democracy, but one of a dictatorship, or where he is king and where there are laws, there are rules. However, those laws and rules do not apply to him his office, his family, or whoever else he extends that, for lack of a better phrase, professional courtesy to. So he can go out here and act all willy-nilly. He can attack the media and call them fake news. They are enemy of the state. And he feels that way because they're saying something negative. When they say something positive, this same entity, this same fake news, they're lying, they're after me. Those same people, if they print something or post something or speak on something positive, or that he believes is positive towards him, his family, and those that he's extended this fake bubble to, then believe them because they are speaking the truth. So he's definitely in a realm of his own, but I definitely believe that he definitely sees it as a dictatorship because he wants to control what we read, what we see, what we hear. And I mean, I really believe if he could hit a switch and control the way we think, out of there.
Yeah, he certainly has authoritarian tendencies there. This might be a problem with our education system. I don't think we talk enough about America as, we think of it as a place, we have our own problems and shit. We don't want to get involved with other countries' issues, but we don't talk about America as an idea, about democracy as an idea worth defending. I think people just kind of know the word democracy and accept that we live in a democracy and don't appreciate what it's like to not live in one, because none of us really ever have, unless you came from one of those countries. We don't want to be like them for specific reasons. It's not fun. So we have our society set up the way we do for a reason. Not perfectly, but there are major benefits to doing it that way.
Yeah, and I found it really funny that is probably the case, because it's just like the whole backlash against, we've talked about this many times, how people hate politicians and don't like politicians running things and things like people who actually know what they're doing and know the system and things like that. It's like, we don't do, I've said this before and I'll continually say it, we don't try to educate ourselves enough as a whole on the way things work. I feel like if people actually paid attention and tried to at least get a basic understanding of how government policy and all that works, we'd be less angry at the politicians. It's just like one story that came up this week. There was a story about Bernie Sanders and Kamala Harris, where people were questioning some of the statements that they made. Were wondering what their positions would be once they try to run for president in 2020. In particular, Kamala Harris was checked because she was asked during an interview, what would she do if she was offered corporate money? And she was like, well, basically what I would do is I would evaluate the situation and make a decision on whether or not I should basically take that money or not. And the host apparently told her she gave them the wrong answer. That wasn't what she should have said. And she was like, well, no, because, that's the way it should be done. We have laws and things in place to where when we, take money, we have to account for it and things like that. And it's not like we're hiding anything necessarily. And I found that very funny that this person just told her she was wrong for saying what she said, which you can make the case that, yeah, she basically kind of sat in the middle. But in reality, that's what you fucking do. If someone's going to offer you money to help you win a political race, you should look at it and determine, is this someone who I want to mess with, or is this not? Whereas I feel like a lot of people like to scream the whole, you're bought by corporations and you're taking corporate money, so you clearly are dirty. Where at the same time, we have a fucking corporate businessman as a president. So where's the line? How could you make that claim about these politicians, yet you're fine with the corporate president?
I mean, yeah, her stance, I didn't hear the conversation, but her stance seems benign stance. It's about as reasonable as it gets. If you want to argue against corporations being able to pay into political campaigns, that's a different conversation. But we could talk about changing the laws. They are changeable, but that is not what this conversation is about. Yeah, you see a lot of people, especially, I feel like a lot of my peers in my age group, just with this, not just hating the government, but they just want to blow it up. They don't want it to exist in the form that it exists. They see, genuine issues with bureaucracy and stuff like that, and they see these flaws and think, well, it's all stupid. Politicians are all corrupt. Nothing good ever happens, even though plenty of programs that are doing good things for good people that people don't want to acknowledge came out of politics. It's an odd state of affairs.
Yeah.
I will say, as far as that attorney-client privilege shit Trump keeps running his mouth about, that's not like an absolute right that you have. There are exceptions to that sort of thing when it concerns crimes and fraud and shit like that. So he needs to stop shooting out that term like it's this perfect protection against any sort of investigation, because it's not anyway. So I don't know why he keeps saying that.
Because he's dumb.
I mean, I'm hoping people don't believe him, because he lies a lot, but when he's lying about the law, it's particularly troubling, because I feel like he's misleading people about what those laws are. He doesn't have some of the rights he seems to think he has.
Yeah, it's just like that whole, when he was like, this is a witch hunt and this is like hurting America. It's like, what is not hurting America? The reality, how's it hurting America?
But he is not, well, we can't expect that the people that believe him on the rest of his lives are not going to believe him about this. To him or to them, he is their demigod. And so whatever he says, they follow him behind. Case in point, if it was Obama with Stormy Daniels, get his ass out of office, he needs to be impeached. These same people, when Clinton was involved with Monica Lewinsky, they wanted to impeach him and get him out of office. Now that Trump does it, miraculously, you know what? We need to stay out of marital affairs. We need to let them handle that behind closed doors. It's a double standard. It's all about applying what you want, when you want it, when it's most convenient. It is kind of like, and Mike know this, Cardiac, you don't. So I grew up in a very church-going household. I've been in church all my life. And there was a time when I questioned God, and it was a big battle in my house, because it was, how can you question that there is a God? Well, my question was, well, why don't you? Like, we are practicing a religion given to us by our oppressors. Do you actually think that they're going to give us a religion that is a God that is for all of us and equality? And then yet when you watch a movie, you see that they had a slave going around to other plantations, essentially telling slaves that they need to obey their master, because that was what was in the Bible. So it's kind of like cherry picking the Bible to what you want it to say, or trying to mold it without context, without reading both the scriptures above and below what you're talking about. And so the thing is, when they try to mold it and change it and say, oh, we need to just give him a chance, give him a chance. We said the same damn thing about Obama, and they, from day one, had a fortress put up. And that is why I laugh when they say that, or when they say, well, now we just need to just mind our business. We need to step away from the personal and let him and his wife do what they need to do. But, oh, by the way, he's doing such a good job. Tell me one policy that he ran his campaign on, other than the hate, other than the division, that he has implemented. He's been in office a year. I don't know about most people. I've been on my new job since February 26th. I bet I've gotten more done in the time that I've been at my new job than Trump has gotten done his entire presidency thus far. Because everything that he's doing, like when the cameras are there and people are around him and they're pimping, he's not doing anything. It is smoke. What is he doing? He's fake signing a blank piece of paper in a folder.
So when you say him, do you mean him specifically or his administration? Because I might argue his administration is doing things. You know, we right before the podcast started, we briefly mentioned Scott Pruitt. Part of the reason people defend him is not just the hypocrisy, is because he actually is repealing a lot of regulations in there.
When I say he's not doing anything, he's definitely trying to reverse everything positive, every step forward, he's doing that. But when I say he's not doing anything that he said he would do on his campaign trail. We're going to repeal and replace, and Mike knows I'm not going to say that fake ass name that they say, Affordable Care Act. We're going to repeal and replace that. And he hasn't done that. What he has done is said, we're going to come up with a solution to make it better. Okay, well, what is that solution? It's going to be bigly. It's going to be better. It's going to be this. It's going to be that. He does a lot of talk. He does a lot of smoke. He does a lot of mirrors. He does a lot of what I call the seashell game. You see the ball up under the seashell? Okay, find it. Okay, well, by the way, while you're trying to find it, let me tell you about this good whatever. And then he tries to distract. So they are reversing things, but in my opinion, that's not doing anything. You're trying to undo a man's legacy. You're trying to undo a man's work. And I hope and I pray the next president that gets in there, every fucking thing he's tried to eliminate, they bring it back. Everything. Oh, he tried to reverse this, reverse it back. Because as a wannabe president sitting in that chair, you should not have the authority to go back and to just try to wipe this man out of history. He's still a classier president. His wife is still a classier woman. Because let's not forget that the most educated first lady is the one that just left office. And not that damn bitch you got laying across the damn naked ass magazine showing her ass. So,
I'm not going to attack the first lady on that point, but
in defense of Melania,
there is no defense for her. She married for money.
But in defense of her,
okay, we'll come through with it.
Pictures were nice.
Okay. Okay.
That's the best I can say.
Okay, how about this? They were less illegal than pretty much everything everyone else around.
Yeah, where she's from, what she did was legal work. Okay, that's the best.
No. It was not legal work because after a while she was not supposed to be in the country. She was not even supposed to be over.
No, but I'm saying before she got here, when she was doing her porn thing,
okay.
That was her job. She was good at her job.
I hate for somebody to say, well, we have a great first lady. Well, what has she done? Well, she runs a campaign on bully. What? She lives with the biggest bully in the world. She sleeps with this man. Well, she don't sleep with him, but she sleeps in the same vicinity of this man. Are you kidding me?
I want to dispute the vicinity thing because I feel like even though she moved to Washington, D.C., she's with the Pences in the Blair House or something like that. I don't feel like she's in the White House.
Well, in the vicinity, I mean in the same city.
I agree. The last podcast, I think the best thing about Melania is that she's quiet and out of the way, which is not a compliment per se, but here this administration, it's about as best as you can hope. And I definitely agree with what you said. I think part of the problem during Trump's campaign was that he was not consistent enough on most policy positions. So he would take opposing stances sometimes within the same day. So a lot of these promises that he keeps talking about, he promised conflicting things a lot of the time anyway. So it would have been technically impossible to uphold a lot of them, even though he said he's upheld all of them. His most consistent stuff was the wall, which is not happening.
I was just about to say that the wall is the only thing that I could think of that he's like been adamant about.
He's adamant about it, and this Now, you know, Mike, you know what I put on your post. If he activates the guard to go and guard the wall, commission, you can have it. No longer needed. No longer want. There is going to be so many people trying to figure out ways to get out of their contracts. Me, for one, the first thing I'd say was, I'm pregnant. I can't do it. I'm done. You know, it's real.
America like that, damn it.
Man, what? America abandoned me when they didn't show up to vote. They abandoned me. Hell no, I will not defend his pissing match with Mexico, because that's what he does. He gets in these pissing matches with these other politicians that are real politicians that know their shit, so to speak. What did Mexico say? We ain't paying for that shit. Oh, yeah, they are. Oh, yeah, they are. Now he's trying to get it so that the military pays for it out of the military budget. We already don't have enough money for the military budget. What are you doing?
Bothers those America First military loving Republicans, but I guess in their maybe the best interpretation of that is they just don't believe it will happen, so they're not taking it seriously. But
they need to take everything that he says seriously, because when we take an oath in the military, we take an oath to uphold the Constitution. We take an oath to support our president. We essentially take an oath that says that we no longer are worried about us as an individual, that we will defend the Constitution. We're going to defend your right to say negative things to me, about me. We are going to defend what is, quote unquote, the American dream. Now, as most people know, I've had the joyous experience of being around military, dealing with military, being a part of the military culture, family life. And as a Black woman, would I do it again? Probably not, because I'm more aware that that oath is not for me, because what I'm defending is not for me. So to me, they need to be paying attention to everything that he says and everything that he does, because he is putting lives at stake. Not to say that civilian lives are not important, because they definitely are, but a civilian can make the decision to go to the wall or not, and stand there and work if they're part of a third party security company or whatever. A military unit cannot. If he tells them to go and stand on their heads and guard that imaginary wall until the cows come home, by law, they have to do that. And I just feel like he's playing a very, very dangerous game. And we are allowing him to. And like I told Mike, no one man should have all that power. It reminds me of the Malcolm X movie. There should be a balance, because right now we have a president that is unlike any president we've ever had, ever. A complete idiot, completely unstable.
Best hair.
And I am best hair. I don't know about that, because I know you saw that picture when that hair flipped over. But
does he even have?
He was introducing a new style.
Oh man, get out of here! But it's crazy that he would that essentially he can hold us hostage until whenever. I want to say next election. I'm hoping that people turn out like they did for Obama to vote his ass up out of there, if he makes it that far. But if not, he can hold us hostage for 8 years, and then we'll pay for this bastard's retirement. And it's not going to be a retirement, because he's going to go over and fuck up some more businesses.
I'm so hoping that he doesn't make it. I mean, I said he wasn't going to make it 4 years, but
hell, I said he wasn't going to get elected.
It's 2018. He's kind of like, honestly, I hate to say this to like bring nightmares, but give him what, 2.5 months? This man has been in office a year and a half. There's a likelihood that by like the anniversary of his election date, he'll have fucking 2 years under his belt. That's a fucking scary thought. He's lasted that long, in my opinion.
There's two things I wanted to say to what Katina was bringing up. First, I agree with her about the point about this president not really doing anything. I only wanted to make the point that his administration is, repealing Obama era stuff, and before that too. Just to keep it in mind, because I think a lot of us get so caught up in this set of daily scandals that we tend to miss out on the things that his administration actually does get away with doing, which is quite a bit, a very concerning amount of things. So I only brought that up to point out that, yes, I agree, he's not really doing anything as far as moving this country forward, but he is succeeding in taking us back in a lot of ways, both domestically and with foreign policy, as far as taking us out of certain agreements. And I certainly agree that we should take him seriously. I don't believe some people are taking him seriously enough, but I'll say this. I don't think people are taking him seriously enough because this is an uncomfortable statement, but we're kind of used to the fact that the president's full of shit. So we know that when he says things, his words don't mean anything in the sense that he's just usually kind of riffing, but his words do have impacts. When he's threatening China, that hurts our economy. When he's singling out businesses like Amazon for personal attacks, that's not what you want a fucking president to do in America. When he's saying we're going to deploy troops to the wall or we're going to pull out of Syria, I think it was McCain that at least partially blamed Trump's comments about pulling out of Syria for that chemical attack that happened. Shit, when was it?
I think it was Sunday.
Mm-hmm. But countless examples. My point is, when he does say shit, even if you don't believe him as far as whether he's going to do it or how serious it is, they do have incredible effects. His words will screw up the stock market, hurt the Dow.
What?
Dangerous effects.
Yeah, didn't it drop yesterday? Because there was still like when they heard the news that he was considering even more tariffs on China. It's like, dude, shut up. You're fucking up. You're like, why do you think this is a good idea?
It is this weird thing, right? Because again, when he talks, we all know he's kind of full of shit as far as how much work he's really going to do. Is he really going to pull it off? But even if he really doesn't do it, it's him saying it out loud, just riffing on Twitter, is in itself very dangerous for our economy and for national security, for many other reasons. So it's this weird thing where we know he's full of shit, but the fact that he's not going through the proper channels to even say the stuff that he's saying is in itself a huge problem.
And that loops back to him thinking that he can say and do anything without any type of repercussions because he's the president. So,
but I don't think it's just because he's the president. It's sad.
I mean, he thinks that anyways, but the office has magnified it.
Yeah, because when he was just, the TV person, the businessman,
you're fired.
Paid attention to, because he owned his own shit. He probably always felt that, but now it's just heightened, which is a scary thing because he feels like because he's in elected office, in the highest elected office, that he could do whatever he wants. It's fucking. Me and you talked about this the other day, Cardiac. It's like I was saying in our message. It's like with the reaction to the whole raid thing, how he went off. It's like fucking watching a goddamn toddler. Like you're a parent with a fucking toddler who just runs his mouth and rambles off and says incoherent shit. And it's like you're sitting there and you're like, yeah, okay, like pretending like you're interested, but at the same time you're just sitting there hoping that this kid doesn't say anything that would embarrass the fuck out of you.
Yeah.
Because you know he's a child. He's gonna say whatever that comes to his mind. It's not gonna make sense. But hey, that's what children do. So I feel like they give him way too much rope in that area.
Let him
where
hang him.
Like it's like, yo, sure, we'll let you say because this is a little Donald. He's just being little Donald. But it's like, yo, no, smack the shit out of that child once in a while. I'm sorry. I don't condone violence on children, but fuck. I used to get my ass whipped for doing dumb shit.
What?
He needs to get his ass whipped by somebody in this administration.
Hell,
He has nobody to fucking
for being right.
Who do you expect to do that though? I mean,
and that's the problem.
We talk about letting him do this. First of all, most of his administration they are surprised when he says shit, and when he just comes out and says this thing, there's two reactions. Either they have to try to walk it back, or they have to start having actual policy meetings to maybe make some of this shit happen. Like it's not like people are just letting him do stuff. They can't really stop him. One, politically, and two, legally. It's very hard to.
You know what? We need to have a shirt like Sheree on Housewives of Atlanta. Who gonna check me, boo? Because ain't nobody checking him. He needs a shirt just like that.
I feel like somebody needs to step up and be grandma.
Who?
Grandma don't play that shit.
Who? Melania?
And that's the problem. You don't have a personality.
Stormy?
She probably will. Oh my God, just made me think about him getting a spanking from a porn star. Why'd you do that? God damn it, because she probably wouldn't give him a spanking.
Apparently he straightened out after she did that though. So
right.
That's what we're not trying here.
Right. He got it together.
Oh my God.
Okay, but we've talked about having certain adults, quote unquote adults in the room to smack his hand. And the problem is either when they're in his circle, they lose their fucking minds, or they get fired or resign. Like we keep throwing these adults at him and they're not effective because he's just that powerful of a child.
Yes.
Oh,
he is like the kid in the grocery store whose mom has told him before going in, don't ask for nothing, don't touch nothing, don't say nothing. And as soon as he gets across that threshold of that door, because he knows that she's probably not going to do much in public, so he acts a fool and acts a fool. He clowns. He throws that tantrum. He's all over the grocery store, throwing shit, opening shit, eating shit, talking crazy, kicking the old lady in the shin, running off. And then guess what? The mom just says, you know what? Do whatever you want to do, little Johnny, because I can't handle you.
So basically what you're saying is he's that kid that I want to kick in the forehead anytime I'm in the grocery store. Okay.
He's that kid that you want to DDT.
But here's the part. But you can't, right?
Because it's not my child. I can't do anything about it. It fucking gets on my nerves.
That's the perfect analogy.
And I would have smacked the shit out of the kid. And I would have punched the fucking parent in the face and pushed them over and like, why did you raise this child? Why are you letting him do this?
And
but here's where the analogy breaks down. This kid does not have a parent that can hit him at home either.
Right. Who's the parent? Who is the fucking parent in the thing?
He does have a parent, but this parent is helpless.
You know what? You're right. Congress. And that parent ain't doing shit.
He does have a parent, and the parent doesn't want to do anything. The parent is afraid of what the fallout will be. If I pop him on his ass, he's going to call CPS, or CPS is going to come and take him. He does have a parent. Sure. He does. And that's why the school is calling. The buses don't want to pick his fat ass up to ride to school because he's a terror everywhere he goes. He has a parent.
Yeah, sure. But I think here what Mike was referring to was the case of individuals. And the reason I'm pooping on Mike's idea of somebody reining him under control is because we've been doing this since
before. Blame you for pooping on it.
Yeah, but since before he got elected, people were saying there's going to be adults. These individuals will talk him out, and every time people say that, I'm just like, why do you expect that to work with him? It hasn't worked ever. And every time we keep throwing somebody new out there, it still doesn't work. Now, it is true there are more powerful parents in a legal sense, but I mean, that's because of the power of precedent. Who can really stop him? Congress?
Who gonna check me, boo? He need a shirt. Who gonna check me, boo?
The Supreme Court in certain cases, but like,
right? No, and by the time they can check him, hell, he done did his damage and he's gone on.
Yeah, it's like to bring up your grocery store analogy. Kids have already knocked everything off the shelves.
Then already tore that damn aisle all the way up.
Yeah, so it's like, what the fuck are you gonna do? You're gonna say bad boy because
no,
too late now. He
what
fucked
the
shit
grocery
up.
store is going to do is going to tell the parents you need to wrangle your child. The parent is going to say, okay, don't worry about it. We'll leave. But now the grocery store got all that shit to clean up. That's exactly what's going to happen with us. Trump ass is going to be at home and we're going to be cleaning up shit for years to come. For years to come. And I know people thought that his daughter would be the one to wrangle him in. Ivanka can't handle him.
She's too busy trying to avoid being fucked by her father the way he talks about her.
Man, what? The creepy old guy. Oh, who is that? Oh, my dad. What? Come on.
I'm, law is not my area of expertise, but I would like us to start. Right? I would like us to. I will say this: when this presidency first started, I didn't really want to go down this route because I was a little concerned about the consequences. But I do want us to get to a point where we can really talk about getting rid of this president. I don't expect it with this particular Congress right now, just the way they are configured. But I could accept the argument based on him shooting off at the hip alone that he should be, removed as president, because even just his random ass tweets that nobody can check are in themselves dangerous to our, like I said, to our economy, to our national security. We have allies that can't fucking trust us for good reason. Yep. Enemies that are emboldened. The stock market has no stability because they don't know what the fuck's going on any more than the rest of us do. The rest of the policymakers don't know what this guy's going to say next. It's not safe on many arenas. So
he makes me want to move to Wakanda. Or at least to Australia.
Yes, there's many other reasons to remove him as president, but I feel like just that point alone is a worthy point to get rid of him. He's not stable enough to be leading the free world, and he's showing that every single day. That is aside from the possibility of collusion with Russia.
Cardiac, he showed that before he ever got elected.
That's
the crazy.
That's the sad part, yeah.
That's the crazy thing. He showed that before he ever got elected. When I watched that debate and he made the comment about his hands, and I've never had a problem in that area. Pimping at a debate.
Sure.
This is not The Apprentice. This is not you sitting on somebody's couch to talk about your show. This is a debate. But you know what?
He's never shown maturity, but at least back then, the argument still existed that the adults in the room could rein him in. It wasn't a strong argument, but I was willing to at least hear it. But now we have a year's worth of proof that doesn't work either. So what else can you do?
Well, what I'm encouraged by is that there was a report today where they did a poll and they talked to a bunch of young people, and it seems like there's an increasingly amount of younger people who are saying that they will be voting this year in this country.
Oh, they should have brought
I forget what the number was, but it was a huge number. And a lot of these people don't fuck with him. And it's kind of sad that this was the spark that ignited their flame. But Parkland has really gotten these kids behind
Yes.
Getting rid of a lot of these people within, Congress who are heavy supporters of the NRA and things like that, and who have sat by and let Trump do whatever the fuck he wants. So it's kind of sad, and it's encouraging that it's going to be the kids, the people who we sit like I can say for myself, who I sit and berate because they get on my goddamn nerves when they do dumb shit, or they listen to shit like Little Xan. Like, who the fuck listens to him? He's fucking dumb. Anyway,
Who is that?
you never heard of Little Xan, or what he used to call himself, San Diego? Which is so fucking dumb.
Listen, sir, I just found out about Lil Dicky about 5 days ago.
You don't know? Look at Lil Dicky. I'm cool with.
Lil Dicky's fire though, for real.
Lil Dicky's the man. I love fucking Lil Dicky. But like Lil San Diego, or Lil Xan now that he calls himself, I think the city of San Diego was like, nah, player, we don't want you associating with us, even though you're from here. But like all these like dumbass like fucking rappers like that, it's like, honestly, I'm proud of like today's youth.
You said Lil Xan?
Yeah, XAN.
Oh.
Oddly enough, Cardiac, on a side note, you know who Ninja is, right?
No.
Oh, damn. I'm disappointed.
Sorry, I'm not cool.
Yeah. That's
Lil
your
Xan
generation.
Is a white boy?
Yeah, I think he's Asian. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But anyway. No, long story short, Ninja is a Twitch streamer who was the guy who played with Drake.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were still talking about rap. Yeah, I know Ninja.
No. Since he played with Drake, all these rappers have been wanting to play video games with him on his stream, including today. Somebody sent me a email saying, "Yo, why is Ninja playing with Little Xan?" And I'm like, "What the fuck?" Like Little Xan and Diplo.
He got a song with 2 Chainz.
Yeah, he's fucking knucklehead.
Ray Shrimmered.
Mm-hmm.
Man, let me go on back to this dumbass song that's in my head. I mean, outside of Cardi B. Let me go back to Lil Dicky. And I only know his one song with Chris Brown.
What song is that?
Freaky Friday. You know it. Come on.
Yeah, that's a cool song. Oh, man. You know what my favorite Lil Dicky song is, don't you?
Didn't know him. So what
Let Me Freak I love that song.
That's a real song?
Yes, it's a song he has, Let Me Freak, which he had, what's her name? Mila Kunis in the video for it.
I'm tripping because Cardiac, you know about Lil Dicky?
Yeah.
Damn.
Man, he's what's that fucking
Yo, the video where he makes the video with the other rappers on a low budget. I forget the name of the song. Oh, what's the song he did with fucking T-Pain in the video? And
who?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Lil Dicky. He did a video where basically he decided, I'm gonna make a trap video and I'm gonna basically just find the cheapest way to make it. And he actually showed up on the set of a fucking T-Pain video to ask him to let him shoot a couple of shots of his video on it. It's great.
What? When he rolls up on that old lady's mansion, it's like, can I?
No, yeah, he rolls up on people's mansions like, hey, I'm trying to make a music video and I just want to use your property to pretend like I own this mansion and shit like that. And people were like, yeah, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, but I like was it Russell Westbrook on a farm? It's like 7 minutes. That shit is fire. Yeah.
Oh, you need to listen to Lil Dicky. Lil Dicky is fucking hilarious. It's good. Yo, white boy spits like shit. He's good. That's the thing is, he's actually a good rapper. He's not just, he says comical, because he did a song with Snoop Dogg called Professional Rapper, which is awesome. But no, Lil Dicky's good.
Can y'all see this screen?
Barely.
Yeah, kinda.
It's Hillary Clinton sipping on some wine with her phone, and it says, just having some Chardonnay in my non-FBI rated house.
That's
childish.
Damn,
I'll allow it. I will allow it.
But on your point about being proud of the youth of America there, Mega, since you were rarely positive for once in your life.
Yeah, because my catchphrase is for little kids is right what I call them.
I don't know what.
I hate to admit this, but yeah, I've said this to several friends. I call them little ignorance. A lot of them are fucking ignorant shit to me. I know it's an old man thing.
Is the next rapper name Little Ignorance?
You know what? I see it coming.
Well, I mean, yeah, the Parkland shooting has been very motivating for people. I see a lot of people saying, now that this white kid school or whatever got shot up or whatever, essentially saying that they're not caring enough about shootings in minority schools. And I'm sure there is a decent argument for that, but I think one thing to note is that these kids are out there, they have a platform that a weird amount of them are good talkers out there really promoting this shit. I'm not saying that hasn't happened at any other schools, but those particular students are really attacking media and helping animate this sort of movement. That is a little different, is just their reaction to this and the amount of attention they get. And to their credit, they seem to include other people on their stage as well. So I've seen a little negativity toward the fact that they're getting attention and moving things along, which is, to me, a bit unfair.
Yeah, and it's sad that something like a school shooting was a catalyst for kind of waking them up politically. Or you could make the argument that was what woke them up politically. At least that's what a lot of Republicans who have the backlash towards them try to make. But it's like, I don't blame them. Their fucking friends just got murdered. And it's sad because we're in an era where kids have to do fucking school shooting drills. Which, like, me growing up, fucking not what it's bad enough that we had to do the emergency drills where you had to exit schools for fire things, or like how people in the 60s and 70s had to do the stop drop, drills for nuclear attacks. Like the fact that you have to prepare yourself for one of your colleagues to fucking murder you, that's fucked up. Yeah, I'll be mad and I'll be wanting something to change. That shouldn't be a part of my daily routine as a fucking like elementary school kid, a middle school kid, a high school kid. I should be fucking like either cutting up in class and getting in trouble, or I should be learning my fucking lessons.
Yeah. So I brought you back on that because I thought it was going to be more positive, but Dick Magus.
Why I gotta be a dick?
That's how God made you, I guess. Have we gotten any answers as to what Trump's desires toward this Syria? Serious. I don't know what just happened to him out there. This Syria situation, like, are we still pulling out?
For what? Syria? He doesn't know, because it's funny. Remember the statements he made about the fucking raid?
Mm-hmm.
He was sitting at a meeting with his top advisors trying to talk about what's going to happen with Syria. And he broke off into a rant about the fucking thing. So he didn't say anything about what he's going to do because he's so concerned about a fucking raid.
All right. So I'm going to assume all our troops are going to be back by tomorrow.
I have no idea what's going to happen. He's still, quote unquote, considering it from what I understand, because in that whole fucking meeting that was based on what we're going to do about Syria, he decided to go off about his lawyer and his attorney-client privilege, which, what the fuck?
And,
and that's why I said last night when I showed you that thing, because, like, I feel like there's something wrong with the fact that he's doing this off the cuff and nobody's saying anything. But like we said earlier, it's like the fucking child and nobody's checking him.
Okay. And in fairness, it's not like the Syria situation is a simple one, but I think the problem is that he keeps treating very complicated problems like they're simple. Hey, there's people coming across the border, which, by the way, is a number that's been dropping for a long time, partially because Obama was tough on immigration, contrary to what he keeps saying about that shit. But let's imagine that there was such a problem that there's this massive amount of immigrants coming over the border. Let's build a fucking wall. China cheats in global business, which they kind of fucking do. Let's just slap a bunch of terrorists on them. Why didn't anybody ever think of that? Fuck this serious shit. We're just gonna pull out. Let's bring our troops home. As though we've been over there doing shit for no apparent reason. I guess he's a child. He comes to very complicated problems with very stupid, simple solutions. Well, quote unquote solutions. But yeah, I just wanted to see if there was an update on that. Our stance as he sees it with Syria.
Yeah, and he has not done an official stance because he's so concerned about Mueller and this investigation and the quote-unquote witch hunt, as he likes to call it. I mean, he's tweeted 2 days in a row about this shit.
And in fairness, his statement that we would be pulling out of there was, I believe, before this latest chemical attack. It's not the first time they've done, Assad's regime has done this to their citizens. They've done it quite a bit, but so I will at least acknowledge that he said that before this most recent attack, but I feel like you should say something now, especially after that just happened.
You would think, yeah, a strong statement, but it's just like with the poisoning in Britain with the ex-Russian agents and stuff like that. It's like it took him a week and a half to finally say, I'm going to bring sanctions on Russia after the rest of the world were like, no, fuck y'all for doing this.
I don't agree. I don't think he said anything. I think his administration.
No, he didn't say anything, but it's like they announced the sanctions.
Yes, they did. The problem that a lot of people have with him is that his administration is doing stuff like that, but he personally refuses to acknowledge or endorse that shit. He's not. I think for some reason it was big news that he finally mentioned Putin by name. I think after this chemical attack, because he blamed Putin and of course Obama for that. Probably Assad too. I'm not sure if he mentioned Assad by name. I can't remember.
Well, he said Assad, Obama, and Putin.
The three biggest assholes in the world, I guess.
But I'm trying to figure out, why is Obama the big one of the big, like, again, dude, get over it. This man, sure, he embarrassed you when you tried to like hit him with the fucking birther rights thing, and then he roasted you at it. Oddly enough, Obama roasted him at a roast for Obama. I found that hilarious. But it's like, okay, dude, Obama's gone. He's out of spotlight. He's not talking shit about you, not fucking with you. Why are you still obsessed with him?
Because right-wing media has been obsessed with Obama for his whole presidency. I mean, there is this odd feedback loop between Trump and things like Fox, or I don't know how heavy a sway things like Breitbart still has over him, but they were pretty fucking harsh on Obama, and apparently he lives, breathes, and shits this stuff. So I'm not surprised he has this strong animus toward Obama, because to whatever extent that he didn't already have a personal issue with Obama, I'm sure the media he consumes has been training him to hate him even more. So I'm not shocked that he can't show
I think that's in part because it's like what Katina was saying, like, my president, a lot of people feel strongly that Obama is still this, huge figure in their lives. And the fact that he's such a fuck up makes them love Obama more. And I think that rattles him, because it's just like, even again, I've said this before, he makes me respect Bush in a whole nother light.
Man, what?
And I've never cared to even try, because I would be very honest and admit that part of it was partisan bias. But no, if you actually go back and look at fucking what Bush did, yeah, he was a dumbass. But you can't necessarily blame him, because he got in the office because his father wanted him to be there, and his father's friends did a lot of the fucked up shit. Yeah. But at least you can say that as a president, he respected the office enough to try to be as, quote unquote, presidential as possible, even though we all knew he was a dumbass. You know what I mean? Like, at least he respected government.
Yeah, you believe, even if he didn't have the best ideas, you believe that he wanted to do well for the country, and that's something you just can't say for Trump. That, you know, across partisan divide and stuff, generally you would at least hope the person on the other side does want what's best for the country, even if you don't agree with how they're trying to get there. But with Trump, you can't even start there with this idea that he wants what's best for the country.
Because he doesn't.
Yes. I'm not convinced that.
What?
I'm certain that he mostly wants the spotlight of a president. I feel like
he wants what's best for him.
Yep.
He wants to be able to say, like, when it's all said and done, say, I did great things. Oddly enough, I hate to bring this up, Katina, but it's kind of like what the story that you told me about somebody where they finished the whole situation with, did I do good?
Did I?
I feel like that's what his whole like motivation is, for everybody to look at him as somebody.
Really? You choose that.
But it's true. Where's the lie? Where's the fucking lie? Because this is what this man loves. He loves fucking approval. He has to. I mean, again, like we were talking about last week, Cardiac, the fucking Easter fucking speech, where he's going on about how everything's so great with the military and how we're doing all these great things. You're doing a commemoration speech for an Easter egg roll for a bunch of goddamn children, and you're hyping up you giving money to the military and all these other things in the wall. What the fuck?
It would be
you
crazy
so need that approval from people that you would take a goddamn holiday event made for children and make it about yourself.
It would be crazy enough if that wasn't like the second time he's done that shit, because he did that with like the Boy Scouts at least.
Right.
And maybe at other times I'm not recalling, but like it's not the first time he's shown just how stroking his ego needs.
But that's him. Oh, you know what? Today is Christmas. Merry Christmas. It's the day that Jesus is born. But did y'all know that I ... or Happy Memorial Day. This is a day when we remember those that gave all. But by the way, did you know that I couldn't go to the military because the doctor said, what?
I think the most recent I remember is that fire that happened to one of his
oh my God.
buildings.
Dude, I tweeted about that. I was just looking at that tweet. He tweeted, fire at Trump Tower is out. Very confined, well-built building. Firemen and women did a great job. Thank you. So he's patting himself on the back because it's Trump Tower and it's a well-built building. I retweeted it and quoted, and I said, what about the loss of life, though? What an idiot. Man, just what? Somebody died in there.
But the building's still there, so fuck it. Clearly, I built a great building, even though you didn't have shit to do with building the building. Anyway.
But again, it goes to priorities. His priority is him.
Yes.
Everywhere and always.
We saw his priorities. If we saw it no other time, we seen it the day he took office. When he got out of the limo and poor little Melania looking like a lost kid down at the bottom of those stairs. And my president, 44, and holding come through Barack Obama, went down there and got this man's wife. What? So you're telling me that you haven't been briefed on what you're supposed to do when you get your fat orange ass out of this limo? First of all, if nothing else, go get your wife. Go get your woman. Stop at the bottom. Get this one. She walked up like, okay. If they didn't see it then, okay, fine. What about when his ass was running up the stairs to Air Force One with that umbrella and poor little baby, whatever his name is, I don't even know his name. But who?
Baron.
Yeah, but Baron running up behind him. Or what about the time he left Melania with the umbrella? It's raining. He's covering his head, and Melania out there standing in the rain, looking like a lost, wet, damn chihuahua. What?
I mean, he's a very selfish person.
I mean,
he is a very selfish person. But just the other day, I kid y'all not, I tweeted this. I said, I wonder if, and I tweeted him, which I very rarely do, realizes he was not elected by the people, and I put not in all caps. He will forever, in all caps, be known as negative 45. He's done nothing except subtract and move our country backwards. Hashtag he's an idiot. Hashtag we need to make mental stability a requirement. Hashtag 44 and holding. I swear, before cheese and grits.
Yeah, also, two things.
44 is it.
He did win the popular vote if you discount all the illegal voters. Which is another example, of course, his weird ego problem where he can't even acknowledge that he lost the popular vote.
Did he bring up the illegal vote at the Easter egg thing too? Like,
it's not like he stopped. He still says that shit. Like, again, you ask why he brings up Obama still. Why does he bring up Hillary? Why does he bring up the illegal voters? Because anything that is a shot to his ego is forever going to be a problem. That's why. Now, I see him as a combination of the most uncontrollable ego I've ever seen and the stereotypical old Fox viewer who is always shitting on everything the liberals are doing, that they're fucking up the country and think that they know what's best, even if they have no political training whatsoever. I had a question, though. Have we figured out who the fuck's trying to kill Scott Pruitt? Like, why did he need this like bulletproof truck he was trying to get?
What?
His desk.
Scott Pruitt is a fucking G. And I still contend that he has something. I know you disagree with this, Cardiac. I still contend that he knows like something. It may not be politically motivated, but I feel like I told you the other day, I feel like he has pictures of Trump peeing on those
maybe
prostitutes or something.
Maybe, whatever. But pimping. If you feel like your life is that much in danger that you need to take these people to Disneyland or wherever you went, stay the fuck at home.
But it's like you're the fucking secretary of like the energy department.
Stay at home.
Like,
did we talk about this last podcast?
I don't think we went in
I don't know
detail.
if
We mentioned it.
So basically, what he said was, you know what? I think that somebody's out to get me because I'm wearing a bulletproof vest in a bulletproof vehicle with 39 million security guards surrounding me so that I feel safe. But
yeah, more Secret Service than the president. What the fuck is that?
You know what? It doesn't matter because guess what? I deserve to have a life. I'm going to go out here to this theme park with hundreds, thousands of people there. I'm going to enjoy myself. And if somebody shoots at me, fuck it. Your life is not worth as much as mine. You're dead.
He has a lot of Micheal, don't he?
I mean, just quick background. Who we're talking about is Scott Pruitt, I believe he still is current head of the EPA, unless he's been made chief of staff all of a sudden.
EPA, yeah.
I mean, there's talks about that promotion there.
The fact that he was considered to be promoted up after all of this.
The main scandal has just been the amount of money this Pruitt guy has been draining out of these administrations. There's just so much to this fucking situation. The desire to have this bulletproof truck, this bulletproof desk, having the security detail 24/7, all these expensive flights, that rent issue because he's staying in that.
Yes, and they had to put him out,
which was a conflict of interest.
Right.
The payments he was giving these members of his staff, like I'm sure I'm missing stuff, but
just throw the whole administration away. Shit.
But no, this is why I keep saying
just that alone is exhausting. Just that list alone, I'm exhausted. What?
But no, seriously, Cardi, this is why I keep saying to you, he has to have something on Trump because Trump has fired people for less stuff. Trump has fired people for just annoying him by doing smaller things than this. This guy isn't gone yet. Even though we know that he's fucking getting on Trump's nerve. What does he have? What is it that, like, what agreement do these people have between each other? Because he got rid of fucking McMasters for what? McMasters didn't do anything.
It's a funny last name, but that's why I had asked this question, because I I wanted to give that quick rundown just as a little background info and just to say that this level of corruption is insane. But I feel like the corruption part of the story is distracting from what I'm really interested in, which is who is trying to kill this motherfucker. Like that's what I need to know.
Yeah, I want to know
who keeps shooting at Scott Pruitt.
Yeah, I need to look up his background. Like, what business? Like, was he a part of the fucking Gambino family or something? Was he a mob boss that escaped? Because he seriously has fear for his life to need all of this fucking
shit before this. Like, I hear he has a CD pass even before this, but I just need to know. Like,
man,
I think the corruption matters.
Said I know he has a CD from the past. I would say, damn, he a rapper too.
He probably did have a beef CD. Did he fucking said something about somebody's coming after him?
What is he rapping about?
I don't know. Something.
The corruption is insane. And again, that was all that stuff I listed off was just in Pruitt's situation. That doesn't count Carson. That doesn't count. Fuck, a lot of people right now. But I need to know who's trying to kill Scott Pruitt. That's all I'm saying. Let's pay attention to all this corruption. I just need to know who's shooting at this motherfucker. That's a bulletproof desk? I've never even heard of that. Like,
a desk?
Yeah, why didn't you need a bulletproof desk? That was the weirdest thing.
Off his door and start shooting so that he can jump.
But no, think about this. Your torso is above the desk. So I could shoot you in the chest. You know,
no, pimping. As soon as you kick in the door,
like, why am I trying to shoot him in the balls or something? What?
He's gonna jump down behind the desk. Like you can't walk around the desk.
But no, his head is still exposed. I shoot him fucking head. What? Lisa said.
I forgot to mention the idea that he wanted those cars to use their police sirens so that he could get through traffic faster because he's an asshole. I guess.
What?
He's a fucking dick. And he's allowed to get away with being a dick. He was going to get promoted for being a dick. Like,
wait, so we still don't have a chief of staff right now, do we?
No.
So the two scariest things I've heard is that Trump considered him for chief of staff, and the other was that Trump thought maybe he should just not have a chief of staff, which...
Yeah, because he can run it on his own. Which
I guess he, in some ways, was already doing that. But I don't know how effective Tillerson was before.
Yeah, like Secretary of State. You need to put a Secretary of State there. Because somebody needs to go and talk to these other countries. You're not going. You're fucking sitting at home eating McDonald's watching CNN.
Boy.
That's... And now we have Bolton as our national Bolton.
Yo, that motherfucker there. Like, and again, I understand he did have a job under Obama, but Obama put him in a less influential position. He just put him in
stupid. Have you seen that man's mustache?
He just put him in there, like he just put him in the UN to just be somebody who works at the UN. He didn't like necessarily make him a policy maker, but now this motherfucker's a policy maker. And he just fired, speaking of Bolton, he just fired a home security advisor from the agency of the home security, which has been there for a while, why you fire him? Because he didn't agree with your fucking maniacal plans? Like,
gotta bring in your dash, man. But
fucking administration.
Let's just all keep track of who wants to kill Scott Pruitt. That is the biggest story for me now. I wish I had watched this Zuckerberg testimony before we started. I was curious about what he was going to say.
I actually wasn't that curious about the Zuckerberg thing because
I saw him say sorry and I was like, all right, we're good.
Yeah, because I feel like, I think we've known for years that Facebook has been kind of shady.
Wait.
I don't agree that we knew that. Or I don't know what we were talking about.
Well, I was saying the general consensus, and I shouldn't say shady, but that they share a lot of information. Because let's be honest, when we do those fucking polls, or people like put polls up, we get all those notifications about how we should join this and all that. We kind of should have known that Facebook kind of reading the room.
Poor little Sarah Huckabee.
I have no sympathy for her.
I'm reading where Listen, I mean, I don't feel sorry for her. She picked the job. I'm ashamed to say that she's from Arkansas. I'm ashamed to say I'm from Arkansas at this point because a bunch of hell is going on there. But she said, where is it at? The P word, I'm not calling him that, certainly believes he has the power to fire Mr. Mueller directly.
Oh, sorry. When you said P word, I thought you meant pussy grabber.
That one works too. Take your pick.
I was like, she said that for real.
P word. Yeah.
I'm sure he does think that. I mean.
But the crazy thing is this. How could you believe that? I mean.
No, it's believable.
But he's wanted to fire this man so many times. They keep telling his ass the same thing. No, you cannot do that.
No, but he can't fire him.
Do that. It wouldn't be good
like the repercussions. Yeah, it's like you do that and like you know what the hell.
But no, you cannot do that. No, that's a fire. No, you're gonna burn yourself.
Crisis.
I say let him fire him, and let's just see what the fallout be. Fire him.
No, again, a child. How many times have you told a child not to touch this fucking stove or not to reach for the cookie jar up top, and this fucking child has done it, and then it ends up screaming because they fucking burned themselves or dropped the cookie jar on their head or some shit like that.
Okay, so again, it's not an apt analogy because when a child does touch the stove, they realize
Cardiac does not like that analogy about Trump being a kid.
Well, no, and honestly, I understand it because it's like, yeah, he is a child, but he's a child who never has to deal with the fucking repercussions like most children do.
No, my issue with it is that
I got a better analogy since Cardiac doesn't like that one. It's still about a kid, but it's like the kid in Texas that ran over those people because he was drunk. He got out of prison last week, by the way, and then it happened like 2013. He killed 4 people. He was drunk driving. His mom tried to hop on a flight with him and take him to Mexico. But he said, or his attorney said, that he suffered from, drum roll, affluenza.
Very serious shit.
And affluenza means that he has so much money, he's never been told no. He's so privileged that he doesn't know the meaning of no. So therefore, we should excuse action and allow him to continue on.
So the issue I had with the child analogy is that I can't believe I'm about to say this about the president, but I think he's stupider than a child.
Oh, he is, by far.
What I mean by that is you use that stove thing. When a child touches the stove, they learn to stop. Even though they were super stubborn that first time, they felt the burn and then they didn't do it again. Part of the issue that this Mueller thing is happening is because he fired a Comey, yes. Which I'm sure people told him not to do then either. And even after that, he's still, for a full year, been considering firing Mueller. So the difference is a child would have actually learned after they touched that stove, and Trump never does.
Touche. Does not seem to learn anything.
It's a depressing statement, but
it is very, because we're talking about the president of the United States. It's one thing if we were talking about Donald Trump, the billionaire playboy, or we were talking about, just some random movie star or something that just don't learn how to like get over this. No, this is the president. This is the guy who makes policy. This is the guy who can sign off on damn near anything if he agrees to it.
Again, I'm about to say that because I hate the guy. It's just, you look at the way he operates and it's like, he can't seem to manage mental feats I expect children to be able to manage.
What? Impossible.
It's sad, but Facebook. Who's canceling their Facebook again?
Not me. I mean, I don't barely put anything.
You know what? I would love to say me, but who really has the expectation of privacy on the internet these days? If you do, I have some lakefront property that I'd love to sell you in Arizona.
I think the issue with this scandal is that there's so many different parts to it. There is the Cambridge Analytica not adhering to the Facebook's policies. There's Facebook not enforcing those policies and then not telling us about it until they pretty much got caught with that problem. And then there's this issue about data ownership and privacy, this notion that the person owns the data, which I'm not even sure I agree with, that you own that data that you're putting out there.
Once you post it, in my opinion, once you post it to a public forum, it's no longer yours. It's kind of like a trash can. When you dispose of something in your trash can on the street for the trash man to come and get it, you no longer own it. The police can come and go in your garbage without a search warrant. It's theirs. It's whomever's. So you don't have the right. It's the same thing. If you post it to social media, you just put your trash outside. Let it go. That's the way I see it.
That's something I've always said to people, and I've had people tell me I was stupid for saying this, but you should always watch what you put on social media, because once it's out there, it's out there. You're not, afforded necessarily. I mean, you have, again, it's a misconception about freedom of speech, and I feel like it's even worse with the social media age, because people don't seem to recognize that what you say can come back to haunt you, or can bite you in the ass, because you have the right to say that shit, but you don't have the right to be absolved of punishment. And it's more so, especially in internet, because so many people can access that shit.
Yeah,
you are giving, not just even if you just set yourself to friends only, you're giving a huge amount of people a bunch of information to pass along.
Sure. I mean, I don't know. It gets into an odd space. I think maybe part of the problem, as I've heard people mention, is that America has not really stepped up to talk about this stuff, especially legally, at least not in the way Europe does, as far as these issues with the internet age and the legality of these issues. I would agree with stuff that you post being public, but I do think we're getting into murky waters when we say things like, your friend did this poll and now they're scraping data off your account too. I guess that stuff is still public. It starts to get, certain applications of that start to get a little confusing with me. Like, when I have another tab open and I'm on Amazon looking at stuff or just Googling random shit, and then I see Facebook targeting ads based on that, I wouldn't sue them for that. I don't think it's illegal, but I feel like those waters are a bit more murky for me, because I'm not giving Facebook that information. They are just kind of.
You are giving Facebook that information, because if you look at their terms of servicing and conditions, when you use it, you are essentially opening up your computer to them or your phone. So you're giving them permission for those targeted ads. Just like I remember when people used to say, man, I was just talking about such and such, and then it showed up on Facebook. Well, damn, duh. Are you kidding me? Yeah, of course it showed up on Facebook. It showed up on Facebook because Facebook is always listening. I'm big into tech. I'm big into law. So I love to read up on anything related to tech and law and how they intertwine. And I remember that there was a case, this man or woman, I can't remember which one, but they committed a murder. It was a group of them, and they committed the murder. And they thought that their asses was so slick. And yeah, they don't have anything on us. You know what they pulled? And they ended up convicting them on it?
Email.
Nope.
What?
The fucking records from Alexa.
Wow.
Because even if you don't say Alexa,
it's listening. Yeah, she listens.
She's listening all the time.
Hey, call her.
Yes. So she's listening and she's recording and she's transmitting that data to Google. And so when people say that, I'm like, Dude, fuck what? You don't have any privacy. You can turn off your phone as long as it has battery. It's still listening even when it is off. So the only way you are not going to be able to have your information transmitted is if you go completely cold, in the dark, ice age, nothing. And even then, guess what? You got to take your ass to work. You go to the grocery store. You use your credit card. You use your debit card. That's your fucking information. There's no way to get away from it. And I understand when people say, okay, well, I didn't tell them that they could have that. You didn't read the terms and services. That's what you didn't do. Because who reads all of that legal stuff? Who?
Nobody.
I'm getting my master's in cybersecurity and I check off on that shit and keep going.
Dude. I remember at one point trying to read stuff like that. One, it's the longest shit too. I get confused by the legal mumbo jumbo. It's not like, at least most of the ones I've checked out are not like plain English where you can just quickly and easily understand what they are. So,
they're not, and they are like that, and they're not like that to confuse you. I'm giving companies the benefit of the doubt on this one, but I don't think that they're there to confuse you. I do think that it's CYA, cover your ass, or as Apple say, cover your apples. I think it's just a way to cover them so that we can't come back and say, I'm sorry, I didn't give you permission to use that. I'm sorry, you didn't have permission to use that. How did you know about that? Nope, I don't want you to do that. So it's kind of like a catch-22. We want our privacy, but then we also want things, whether that's our software, our hardware, to cater to us. We cannot have that meshing of privacy and technology without giving up some of our rights. There's just no way to do it. And it's kind of like on your phone, whether you are an Android user, iPhone user, BlackBerry, or whatever. When you start to use your phone and you set it up, any smartphone, and you go to set it up, you have to accept their terms and conditions, or you can't use their device.
Sure.
Their terms and conditions are saying that when you use this phone, we have access to this, or maybe not to this, or maybe not to that. And I know so many times people have asked me, well, why do you have an iPhone? First of all, I had my identity stolen. And so I know how hard it is to get yourself back from that.
what the fuck?
But
That's my cell phone. Sorry.
But
Should give me
unlike Android, Apple is so closed space, and people hate that. And I'll say that as a developer, as an app designer, as a programmer, I hate that because it makes it hard for me to get into the market and to tweak and do things. However, as someone that knows about cybersecurity, I love that because those apps have to pass the strenuous bar of protecting data that Apple sets for itself. And if they can't reach it, they can't be in the market. They are removed from the store. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And so you can't have that. It's kind of like the Facebook issue only affects Android phones. It does not affect iPhones. Why? It's not because, in my opinion, it's not because iPhones are quote unquote better, but it is because of the level that they put on privacy and security and what they will allow and what they won't allow. But I would tell anybody, if you are connected to anything, whether you are working, going to school, have a cell phone, have an app, I mean, whatever. I have an app that lets me start my car. Do you think that that app has to know where my car is in order to start it? Yes. And my location is off half the time. But hell, who am I keeping my location from if I'm starting my car from the app? It means that it's still there. So we have to come to grips with, we can't be completely private if we want to be able to enjoy tech. So, I mean, I wasn't shocked that Facebook was doing it, to be honest. What I was shocked at is that so many people were shocked that Facebook was doing it.
It didn't shock me too much, but I think what that points to is, I mean, the fact that so many people are surprised is that your relationship as a consumer when it comes to technology is just different than a lot of other stuff. It's not like when you go to the store and buy an apple and then you just eat that apple. You don't have to think that much. For one thing, the apple is just a pretty temporary thing, but this technology, it's persistent all the time. You don't have to think about that with many other things that you purchase. You know, this complicated set of terms and conditions. I mean, yes, you have similar things with other things that you purchase, but they're not that big, not complex. They don't encompass so many different aspects. It's a completely different animal when we're talking about cell phones or social media. People are agreeing to far more than they realize. And again, a lot of us slam them for not reading the terms and conditions, but one, unless you're like a legal scholar or some shit, I would be surprised if you fully read it and comprehended it.
I agree.
And I don't know, too, it's just wildly different than anything else we have to deal with. Because we all say, like, when you're on social media, you're putting this stuff out publicly, of course you don't own it. It's not obvious that you should not. It is legally true that you don't own it. Otherwise, Facebook would be in a hell of a lot more trouble than they actually are. But it is not intuitive in people's minds that, yeah, you just don't own this stuff.
Yeah, no, but and again, it goes back to conversations I had with people, like where I would tell them you should be careful, and they'd be like, "Whatever, my job shouldn't see this. My job has no right." And it's like, this is public domain stuff. You're trying to say your job that has no right to read something that's publicly expressed and things like that. It's a weird.
On Facebook, it is. I can see why you would think that on Facebook, because you think at least that your data is limited to your friends. You have certain privacy controls that you assume you rightfully should assume
it's
work.
It's like, how would I know that my friend isn't a friend of a other friend that I didn't want to know? It's like, again, I feel like people use social media without thinking about that stuff, and I can't blame them, because at the same time, a lot of people look at social media like, yo, it's supposed to be fun. This is supposed to be something where I can speak my mind, blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
Yeah, again, that was the point I was getting at there, was that your interactions with this technology requires a lot more thought as to what you're agreeing to than pretty much any other things that you would just buy and use. I don't think that much about what I'm agreeing to when I purchase a toothbrush. Like, you know, I'm not going to sue the toothbrush manufacturer if my gums will bleed or some shit like that. Like, you don't have to think that hard about that type of stuff.
Imagine such your gums bleed, really.
But
I'm sure they're protected somehow against that.
For us, well, and when I say us, I'm saying for the millennials and people that are tech savvy to a certain extent, or those that grew up with computers. Like, I grew up with a computer, so I remember programming from second grade, third grade. I learned DOS, line 10, line 20, line 30, run, and then having to go and debug it when my rocket ship didn't take off the way I wanted it to.
God, I'm fucking doing a podcast with a bunch of nerds.
Whatever. But in doing that, we're so comfortable with it because we grew up with it. And so because we grew up with it and we're so comfortable with it, we don't think anything of it. And 90% of us are not like me. What do you need this info for, ma'am? What are you going to do with it? Why do you need this? Why do you want that? 90% of us are not questioning that. We're just saying, you know what? Got this nice shiny new iPhone. I want it to work. And I can't access it. I can't use it. I can't do anything with it without clicking on I accept and agree.
Sure.
So because I want to use it, hell yeah, I accept and agree. Boom. What else you want me to agree to? In that documentation, literally, and this is the crazy thing, and I'm trying to think of where I was working at. I was working at a dermatology clinic group, and in that group, they had to go in and they had to do these trainings. Well, because they knew that they had to have the trainings, they would instantly go in and click on I agree. They weren't supposed to click on I agree. What they were supposed to do is click on I do not agree. And then when it pulled up the screen to ask why, they were supposed to put in a code that would have given them their training for free instead of $99.99. But what they were doing, because they were so used to just sitting on I agree, they were clicking on I agree. And then they were wondering why they were being charged $99.99 or why they had to put their credit card in there in the beginning. And it's like, okay, you did not read.
Yeah, it's a big problem.
So the thing is, we get so comfortable and we're so used to it. It'll be somebody like your grandma who don't give a damn about an iPhone and legitimately wants to read it. When I worked at Apple, I had an attorney that I had to sit on the phone with. Oh, I was pissed. While he read the terms and conditions before he would hit I accept and I agree. And at that time, I was in the iOS queue, which is iPhones, iPods, and iPads. So you want to read all of this before we can continue on to troubleshoot your problem that you called me about. Call me back. Nope, I got you on the phone. I don't want you to go. I don't want to lose you. I'm going to go ahead and read it really quickly. Sir, there is nothing quick about reading the terms and conditions of anything. So it's kind of like we're so comfortable that we say, okay, I accept and I agree. Oh, I accepted and agreed to give Facebook 3 cents every month. Didn't know that, but it's in our terms and conditions. But I want a refund, but it's in our terms and conditions.
Sure.
So it's kind of like a toss up when it comes to technology and privacy. And man, we just got to be careful with what we're reading and what we are accepting and agreeing to. I mean, it's kind of like, people do this. They buy cars without reading the paperwork. They just be like, oh, you got my payments down to where I want them? Who gives a shit if I got to pay these payments for 100 months? Come on. Sign. Done.
It's so true, though. I mean, so what do we learn from this lesson is that
nothing is private.
Yeah, nothing is private. But more importantly, that Cardiac and Katina are fucking nerds, and I don't know why I hate
nerd. I mean, it's just
whatever.
But it goes back to what I said earlier. This whole Facebook thing with Cambridge Analytica. There's so many different avenues to it. One of the things I don't think we talk about is just the political problem of having these bad actors try to manipulate people. There's a lot of fake news generated by Russian bots and this weird sort of targeting of people that I feel like we're ignoring because we're so mad at Facebook for being irresponsible with our data. But I'm just as concerned by these actors that are out here pouring gas on the flames of these political groups.
I think part of the problem is, and I hate to say it this way, being an old person, but we have a lot of old people who don't necessarily understand this. There's way too many people in Congress that have been around way too long. That haven't adapted to modern. It's just like, I think we were talking about this the other day, Cardiac, about how like it seems like the law doesn't catch up.
Yeah.
And it won't.
Technology.
It won't.
The reaction by the law is very, very slow and stagnated when it comes to the way technology goes.
I mean, I think that was my problem with it, is that it's trying to react when, in some cases, it should be trying to predict a little bit. But
and the thing is, I don't necessarily have a problem with you trying to react. I have a problem with when you decide to react. Just like now, everybody's now all up in arms about the Facebook thing. It's not like it's been something that's been extremely secretive, because we've all seen terms of services with a bunch of things on Facebook. So this isn't a new invention, so to speak. But the way that we as people react and the way that the law reacts, it's just like you didn't necessarily pay attention to what was going on. And when it happened, you didn't sit like, well, what is this? What's the repercussions? What do we need to do? It's like, no. Now that all this stuff is out, now the law wants to react. And it's really bothersome.
Now that people are mad, the law wants to react. So I think that is a difference.
Even one step further, now that certain people are mad, they want to go and change something.
Right. And that's just like, so, but like, we need to stop that. And we need to be, again, wishful thinking. We need a more proactive, train of thought.
You know, I've said this before, and I can't remember if it was on this podcast when I came on, or if it was the one with just me and you, his point, her view. But when I spoke to an attorney, he said that the way that the legal system works, all the checks, the balances, the requirements, the permissions, the I's dotted, the T's crossed, technology and law will never walk side by side. It will never be able to marry. The law will always be the boy or the girl running after the boy or the girl of their dreams. Always. They will never catch up, because technology changes so quickly and so swiftly, and the law does not work that way, unfortunately. And fortunately, because can you imagine if the laws could change like that, what negative 45 would have going on?
I agree with that. I think the desire is to make the chase a little closer, not like on different continents.
Right, I agree.
There's that. I also fear what they will do, because I hear a lot of people say, like, they have a problem with this situation, but I have not heard a good explanation for what they want to do. And as an engineer, that always concerns me, because I always hear, because I can program and make websites and shit, I always hear people say, I want you to make this. I have like a lot of questions about what the fuck this means. That I'm sure you haven't thought about. And so, I think what Black just said, a lot of these people have just been in here too long and aren't comfortable with technology. That concerns me if they want to make laws surrounding this, because I listen to them talk and they don't know what the fuck they're talking about in a lot of cases. So it makes me very concerned when they're just shooting off. They're saying, we need to do something about this. I need you to define what that something is more clearly than saying that.
What exactly is this? Yep.
I think we all agree that we need to do something here. There is a problem, but if you ask me right now, I don't know exactly what we need to do. Yeah, and that's concerning. I think we need to talk more about what it is we're going to do.
I was just about to say that. I think if anything, you need to open the dialogue and start the conversation in a very serious and deep manner, not just for moment-to-moment instances. Like with Facebook, everybody wants to talk about Facebook because it's the moment that happened. It's like, no, y'all should be thinking about this shit. Like, you should be pre-gaming this shit, basically. Like, you need to think like, okay, take this Facebook thing, say this happened. Now, what is the ramifications of this, that, and the third happened? Let's discuss what we would do from here on in. And it's like, I feel like the way that Congress is set up, we're not going to get that for at least a decade.
It's a good example. These bots generating this fake news stuff. What should we do about that? It's not like it should be illegal to lie or something. So I shouldn't just say bots. I mean, there's people too actually purposely generating fake news, but
Yeah, it's just like we had the fucking fake page for Black Lives Matter that came up on Facebook. Like, come on, you shouldn't allow this shit, but it's happening.
That has serious repercussions. It animates certain groups. When you look at the sociology brand, that kind of stuff, you see that when people see viewpoints they agree with like that, it tends to hype them up even further. It's a positive feedback loop that you see in a lot of there's actually interesting psychological experiments dealing with that sort of thing that show that phenomenon. It's creepy, but interesting. And I think we should do something about that. I don't know what the fuck that is, because who are we gonna have, like a bunch of fact checkers to check this stuff? Who decides what these facts are? Like,
look, I was just about to say, well, who's gonna check the fact checkers?
And everybody says, we should make AI do it, and it's very cute when non-engineers say that.
Man, what?
Just make the AI do it.
Yeah, because they can do every damn thing.
Look, y'all nerds need to be able to do that shit. Stop complaining.
Man, whatever. This is what I tell people whenever they say that. Number one, it's man-made. So if it's man-made, it is fallible. If it's fallible, there will be faulty issues. If there are faulty issues, guess what? It's going to be problems. So your ass still ain't going to be happy, because it's still going to be an imperfect product made by an imperfect human whose code is going to be imperfect, because there is no such thing, in my opinion, of a perfect code. I can always improve on my code. I can always improve and make it better, make it cleaner, make it sleeker. So it's going to be problems. But if you want this AI to do it, then what the hell y'all going to do when the AIs take over? Then what? Then what? Then y'all going to be mad at us for damn making the AIs. So it's like you can't win.
I mean, even introducing AI can have problems. There have been stories like having AIs make certain decisions, and then you notice that their decision was taking into account things like race, for example. It's not, and that's not me like shitting on the entire AI community. I think there's many great things you can get out of AI, but it concerns me when non-engineers just say, we'll make AI. That's not anywhere as simple as you seem to think it is. Even one, making it, and two, like actually applying it and testing that it works. It's not that cut and dry.
Because I want to say, I can't remember where it was, what journal it was on, but it was an AI that was making decisions. And the point of it was so that it could beat this game. And what it was giving food to a homeless person, whether or not they should get, whether or not the food should go to the homeless person or to somebody else. And what they found was that the AI was doing evil shit to win the game. So if not giving this person food and this person would die 6 moves down, the AI would still not give that person food, kill that person, and then boom, go on to the next one. They're going to mess around and they're going to get some damn AIs, all right. It ain't going to be what they want, though.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think one problem that a lot of people have is they tend to assume that AI will behave like human and like humans.
And they will.
In some cases they will, but good way. AI more generally are going to solve the type of problem that they were designed to solve. They won't necessarily solve it the way a human would, which in some ways is good because maybe humans aren't doing it right in the first place, but it is something to keep in mind that an AI does not necessarily need to act the same way a human would act, which is part of the problem. It makes them hard to predict. So I got into an odd conversation once about how for example, the thing I work on, which I'm not going to describe too much, but they asked me if I was using AI, and I said no. And part of the reason is you need to be able to explain to customers why it did what the fuck it did. And that's kind of hard with AI because they're just making their own decisions. There's a black box issue with being able to explain why an AI acted a certain way. It's not that easy. Not impossible, it's just hard.
I don't want to have to explain it to a non-nerd because shit, they gonna ask 30,000 questions. I mean, just think about it. Yesterday, I was at the Apple store. I was getting my phone replaced. Now, for me, you, and most people, if I say, we have two alternatives. We can back it up and we can delete it, delete your stuff off your phone and re-add it back and see if that works. Or we can completely restore the phone after the backup and see if that resolves the issue. But without your backup on it, if I restore it, I would like for you to at least use it for 10 minutes before you install your backup. Well, why? Bitch, I just told you why. What do you mean? But won't I lose my data? No, ma'am, that's what the backup is for. Yeah, I know you said that, but what I'm asking is, won't it be off my phone? Yes, it'll be off your phone, but it'll be a backup. Well, I mean, then what happened? This lady went round and round with this man, and I listened to him tell her, and I was like, my God, this is why I am glad I no longer work in tech support. An hour later, she said, I don't want you to lose my data. I don't want to take that chance. He said, well, ma'am, we can back it up on the computer. I don't want you to lose my data. Well, bitch, take this phone not working and go back home with it because you're wasting my time. So,
the trials and tribulations of nerdy customers.
Yeah, trials and tribulations. But
you nerdy fucks.
It is. I had brought up the point originally about looking at this from a more technical standpoint, just to say that the way a person in tech has to think about problems is different than the way people who complain about the problems.
Yes.
But aside that point, yeah. This analytical thing, again, there's lots of different aspects we could talk about with this, and maybe we'll talk about it some other time. But I do want to say that, we talked about.
I invited you to talk about tech. No.
I just don't want to laugh for. We talked a little bit about, people should be more cognizant about what they're signing up for. As far as this more political issue about, people being misled with all these fake news stories and, motivated by all this stuff. I think one thing people need to be cognizant of is the fact that there are actors on the internet trying to manipulate you that way.
Yes.
And part of the problem is that we have all these people that are like, well, do your own research, blah, blah, blah. These same people, if I look on their Facebooks, I have this one guy in particular I'm thinking of. When it comes to gun rights, for example, he's always sharing stuff from like these NRA affiliated groups that I'm not convinced he realizes are NRA affiliated. Like, it's, we hear about these silos all the time nowadays, and I don't think people appreciate that is a problem, because I look at their sources and they're clearly coming out of like the same bubbles all the time. I think I noticed because I actually fucking read them, but that is something I hope people will think more about, is that when you're online and you're seeing this data, think about who it's coming from, what motivations they have. Is it even true? Because I think a lot of people just think that these things are true because they saw them on the internet. Which I'm not saying to be a dick, it's just.
No, it's true. People do feel like what they read and see on the internet, everything is the gospel. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Think more about the actual truth value and, again, the sources. Not everything you see in a meme is a fact. That's why we have proper news organizations.
Please don't get me started on memes.
Oh my goodness. Not to interrupt you fellas, but it is 11:04. This chick is going to bed because I will be up in 5 hours.
Yeah, and I will be honest, I'm about to tap out now because I feel like we talked long enough. I feel, although we will be doing wrestling, if you want to stick around for the wrestling.
Who, me?
Yes.
I don't give a shit about no wrestling. John Cena got fucking beat by the damn Undertaker. What?
He should be.
That's exactly what should
have never happened.
Sorry, dude.
You know what? Yeah, I'm getting off of here because I don't know what's going on wrestling. I just know that John Cena, I love him. The Undertaker freaks me the fuck out.
Good.
So.
Supposed to happen.
And at one point, I loved him. He went from scary to, oh my gosh, he's one of my favorites, to, okay, he's back to scary. He's back to popping up out of coffins and shit. I'm done.
You got it.
I just need them to put him back on a motorcycle so I can love him again.
American badass.
So
Okay, well, thank you for coming on, and thank you for not cursing me out.
not yet. I'll curse you out off screen. So, but I am going to bed because tomorrow is a great day.
Yeah, and I probably should get ready. But first, I want to talk about WrestleMania. So go to bed. Have a good night. Thank you for coming on. Appreciate
All right.
it.
What time you got to work in the morning?
I need to be there about 7:30, so I'll be up early.
Cool. I'll call you on my way in.
All right, cool.
All right. Bye.
All right, bye.
Bye, Cardiac. Good night.
Peace.
All right, so we've talked about all the serious stuff and gone political. Let's do our quick review of fucking WrestleMania. Then I can go to fucking bed too. What were your impressions of WrestleMania? We did our predictions. I don't think we got it a lot right.
No, actually, I will say I loved NXT Takeover. I thought every match was awesome.
And I need to watch that. I heard it was really good. And it's funny because somebody, I was at work and somebody was on social media that I followed hyping the fuck up out of Gargano and Ciampa.
You didn't watch that match?
Well, remember, I was out.
No excuses. That shit was a masterpiece.
In defense of myself, when Takeover was over, I was out in Bumblefuck, Maryland, fucking at a party with a lot of lesbians, drunk, and I didn't get home until like 2-3 in the morning. So I didn't see Takeover.
That match was a fucking masterpiece, and you're an asshole for missing it.
Yeah, I gotta fucking watch Takeover again, then. But WrestleMania occurred. What was your feelings? Just like to wrap this up and get like quick brief opinions before we go off. How do you feel about WrestleMania as a whole?
Overall, I actually really enjoyed it, which I was not expecting to. I liked the Asuka Charlotte match a lot. Wasn't the ending I'd hoped for. Asuka lost. If she was going to lose, I would have hoped that the match would have went longer and been even more awesome, but good match. Shinsuke thing, AJ disappointed me, but interesting ending.
Honestly, I feel like we hyped it up too much.
No, that is not what disappointed me about it. Shinsuke was not as vicious as I was hoping he would be. The build to that match sucked for like months. Like
true.
Since the Rumble where Shinsuke won, the build to that match has been weirdly lazy.
True. Very true.
There's lots of reasons I didn't like it. It wasn't just the hype issue. But Ronda Rousey really fucking wowed me.
Yo, that match surprised the hell out of me, and I'm sure a lot of people. That might, as I keep thinking about it, I might put that as my favorite match of the fucking favorite.
That was my favorite match. And if, like I said, the day before, you could not have possibly convinced me that was going to be my favorite match. But
no, it should have been a celebrity you know, oh, that's cute celebrity wrestling. But no, Ronda fucking showed her ass.
She went deep in that. She was taking all kinds of crazy bumps.
Yeah, like she fucking impressed the fuck out of me. It's like, and again, she's still raw, but for somebody who's raw and has no ring experience, she fucking did a good job.
I briefly stopped it on Wise's stream, and like the line I remember was like, it wasn't clean, but it wasn't bad. And I was like, perfect way to describe it. Yeah, like, it didn't have the pure cleanness that you would expect from somebody more experienced, but it wasn't bad at all. It was pretty fucking awesome.
The funny thing is, it was probably better than some people who've been around for fucking like eons.
Yeah, that bugged me a lot.
It was horrible.
You know, minor point. I remember, I think I said this to you. One of the things I liked is that when she's locking in submissions and shit, she'll do shit that a lot of wrestlers won't do that bothers the shit out of me. Like with the arm bar, like actually, you know, clasping the feet together or locking it around the neck and shit. Like she does it in different ways.
Yeah.
She does it like somebody who actually does them, right? Like,
yeah.
Some of the form I see wrestlers use is just like not right. And not just because, you know, they're wrestlers and they don't want to hurt anybody. It's just not correct, period. Yeah. Sometimes. So, you know, kudos to her. I didn't know what to expect going in, but somehow my favorite match.
Yeah, and it's like the subtle things that she would do that you would, again, like you said, you wouldn't expect wrestlers to do. Like the finish when Stephanie's fighting the fuck out of her not to get in the armbar. And she finally breaks Stephanie's like hold. and she's holding Stephanie's like offhand on her arm to keep her from locking that shit. She just looks down at Stephanie's like, "Are you ready? Let's go." One, it was like, yo, I wouldn't have never thought of a person doing that, but that fucking makes sense because like you're fighting somebody and they're fighting their ass off to keep you from finishing them off, and once you got them in the position, she fucking like was like, yo, I'm gonna like savor this moment. We're gonna taunt the fuck out of you. You ready to get fucked up? You're gonna get fucked up. It's like that makes sense.
Even her facials were weirdly on point because before this, she'd been smiling so much. I was like, I don't know if her face can do anything but smile. But like from the start of the match, she was like dead ass in it. Like she was ready to murder somebody.
She was upset that Kurt was getting fucked up and they wouldn't allow her to get the tag in to help him out. She was really concerned about him.
Yeah, like there was this one point I actually watched it back again today where she did a pin attempt on Steph, and she's looking dead in Steph's eyes as she's doing this with like this, yeah, I'm about to win this match look, and I'm like, this woman is committed to this situation.
Yeah,
no. A lot of times you see wrestlers just like looking blankly or whatever. She's looking dead in this bitch's eyes.
Yeah, you would have thought she was in a real UFC fight. She was taking that shit. It's like, again, kudos to her for somebody who's never been in the wrestling business. You clearly can tell like her whole homage to Roddy Piper isn't just her just being some like geek fan or some smart fan. She actually really does care about that shit. Because of the way that she did things.
Those bumps, like when Tripp pulled her out of the ring and dropped her on the ground, I'm like, God damn, she's not shy about taking these. When Triple H threw Kurt Angle into her, I mean, she was taking some bumps you don't normally see a celebrity take. You know what I mean? She was taking bumps you don't see a lot of people take, actually.
And it's funny because we were saying this, but I find it weird that we kind of, I think, both agree. Comparative to matches with seasoned veterans, this outdid a lot of what was shown on WWE. I mean, like, goddamn. And this is for somebody who, again, I admit, I was just expecting one of the typical WWE celeb matches where they just let the celeb get over. The celeb doesn't have to do much. You know, you work in her spots, but at the most part, she's just there because of the name. Nah, Ronda was a fucking active participant, and she was like really in it.
I will grant that this match seemed specifically crafted to kind of get her over, and I want to see how she does in like more singles matches and stuff. But again, this was her first fucking match, so you got to keep that in mind and give her some credit. One thing I liked about that, and this is the last thing I'm about to say about that particular match, the crowd actually liked her, and I was a little afraid of how they were going to feel toward her because, you know, not this crowd in particular, but like the internet in general has been really dickish toward her since that loss to Holly Holmes. I mean, like horrendously assholes to her about pretty much everything ever since. Even before that, they were like, I want this bitch to lose, blah, blah, blah. There's been a lot of hate toward her. And when she first came to Raw, I remember people chanting, actually, Holly Holmes or whatever, and I was like, are they going to bring this bullshit into here? But she's getting freakishly positive reactions.
You know, especially if you're a wrestling fan, you have to have respect for her because, again, she didn't play this like one of WWE's dumb celeb matches that they generally do. She seems like she really wants to do this, and that she's not just there just to get a paycheck. I guess it's like maybe it's part of it because she's living a dream because she grew up loving Roddy Piper wrestling, but she seems to like want to do it right, and that's what I appreciate. And that's what I respect the most about her and that whole match because
that's a good point. People respect that. Even that shit I said about her smiling a lot, I think she smiles too much, even in some situations where it's not right. But one thing I will say is that the smile seems genuine. Like I see her out there and I'm like, I think she just can't help smile because she really fucking loves this situation.
You know what? Thinking about it, I put it akin to like the Mark Henry thing. It's like you knew Mark Henry or maybe even the Kurt Angle thing, oddly enough. Like, you know, these people weren't wrestlers, and they came in off of like the hype of their success from their other careers.
Right.
But even with them not being the greatest in the beginning, they worked their asses off to become fucking legends in the sport that they weren't necessarily. And if this match is any indication, I think Ronda Rousey might be one of those two, who is like, yeah, I'm not a wrestler by trade, but I respect this shit so much that I'm willing to put in the work to be what you need me to be.
And again, I think the genuine emotion there. I don't think she's super awesome on the mic, at least not yet.
Yeah.
And again, I think the smiling is a little off, but I give it to her. I think the emotion is most of the time genuine, and that's what kind of makes it okay sometimes. So when she's out there beaming, smiling, I don't think it's just because she feels like she has to smile. I think she's just too happy to not smile. So it's kind of a pass sometimes. Yeah. But a great match there. I really like the Charlotte Asuka thing. That
was really good. That suplex that Asuka gave Charlotte, god damn, that was hard.
On the mat, yeah. I mean, on the ground.
Yeah. Ooh.
I wish I should have given this. That shit was rough.
And the reversals, yo, like a lot of times, sometimes WWE can get a little too wild with the false finishes or the reversals. Those reversals made sense, and they were fucking ill as fuck. It's like when Charlotte did the moonsault and Asuka caught her fucking ass and reversed that shit into the fucking submission hold, but then Charlotte like fucking reversed that shit, and then Asuka this makes sense.
Yeah, that spear was out of control too. Like it was a very good match. My only complaint was that it wasn't even. If I felt weird that Asuka lost, but after that I was like, fine, you want to end the streak now? It's WrestleMania. It's fucking Charlotte. It makes sense to do it with this person on this grand stage. I was just like, if you're going to end it, make it a bigger match than even that. I think it's worth that. And quite frankly, you should have made the promos better if you wanted to do this shit. But,
well, my misgivings about WWE and their promotion and marketing and all that.
Yeah. I have a lot of the same ones because I think the problem was I just didn't even come into this situation entertaining Charlotte as a possibility. And when you look at NXT takeovers, you can pretty much entertain almost anybody in a match as a winner.
Yeah, you don't have a clue, but WWE seems much more predictable, which I think I got predictable with a couple of matches, like the Bludgeon Brothers going over. I think I said that they were going to do that, and they did. They squashed the hell out of everybody.
I didn't enjoy that match. Thought it was too short.
One match I couldn't predict, that I was mad I didn't predict, and that I hated, which is my most fucking hated match, probably. Well, it's my most hated match emotionally.
The Raw tag team match.
No, that's not it. I mean, again, that's one of those things I was like, ill, Braun with the little kid and all that, and then you find out he's
he was tagging with the little kid. Or I felt like you shouldn't just said ill Braun with the little kid. I feel like that said.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, Braun.
Unfair
I'm sorry, Braun. I'm not saying you, but he chose a little kid as tag team partner. I was like, yo, and it's again. I'm not necessarily averse to that because after you find out the backstory that the kid was a referee's son, you feel like this was done as a favor and all that. So it's a nice, touching story, but the placement of the match was dumb.
I'm averse to it. Not at WrestleMania and stop shitting on the bar. Otherwise, do whatever the fuck you want. I was fine with the rest of it. Not the bar because they lose too fucking much. And now, you know what? Great. Break them up. Make Cesaro go after Brock Lesnar. Give me that match.
Like, for real, seriously, outside of Dean and Seth, everybody who they lost the belt to in the last, few months has been shitty. So.
But yes, the match that you loved the most or whatever you were saying there.
Match that I loved the most.
I was being sarcastic. You were talking about the one you hated the most.
Oh. Yeah, the one I probably hated the most. God, there's a lot of candidates, but I have to go with the Roman thing because and you weren't watching it because you were lusting over fucking Ronda.
Whoa!
Hey,
a little bit.
Hey. Where's the lie? Where's the lie?
I mean,
But no, seriously, it's like you make this the main event, which one it shouldn't have been. It should have been Shinsuke and AJ. Despite however you feel about the match, that's the WWE fucking championship. That should have been the closer. Because even though it wasn't the greatest match in the world, it was good. It was better than what you saw with Roman. Because Roman Reigns taking 5 fucking F5s and then falling to the 6. He's get bust open. He's fucking bleeding all over the place. Like, nobody wants to see Brock squash somebody because nobody wants to see Brock as the champion anymore. We're tired of this. Man doesn't show up. He just shows up for pay-per-views at best. Maybe defends his title. No.
Okay, I didn't watch it, not because I was lusting over Ronda, partially, but because I said well before Mania that I was probably not going to watch that match because I'm not invested in Brock at all. And I'm not that invested in Reigns either. I don't hate Reigns like a lot of people. I just don't care about him at all. And I'm not going to, like, the WrestleMania was like 7 hours or something, right? I'm not
No, it was 8. It was literally fucking, it's funny because I was listening to a podcast today and he made this line, so give credit to the Nerd Apocalypse, but it was literally a work day.
However long it was, I was not waiting all the way to the end for the main event to be this match when, like, I never gave a fuck about that match. So I just went back and I watched other matches. I watched the Ronda thing. I started the Ronda thing during the Raw Tag Team match into some of the Reigns one. I think I also watched some of Asuka Charlotte again. I never gave a fuck about that match.
But no, if you would have saw that match, you would have realized that even the fans were just like, yo, what the fuck? Because the chants they were making, the reaction, it was just like, they were basically saying, yo, we didn't want this as the main event. This is not good. Even when you're seeing Brock fuck he literally fucked the shit out of Roman Reigns in the ring, metaphorically speaking. Like, he busted his head open so much that this man was bleeding to the point where if you actually look at the match, it's not just Roman Reigns' forehead bleeding so much that his whole entire face was covered in his own blood, but a huge portion of Brock's body was covered in Roman's blood. But it still was just like, yo, this is ridiculous. And like the 6F5, boom, Roman goes down.
Sure.
Why? And then you find out backstory that this possibly wasn't what was supposed to happen, and Brock went nuts. And
when I heard that happened, I still didn't watch that fucking match, which goes to show it didn't really they were never going to succeed for me because I was never interested in that match. So I guess a lot of the fans felt that too because I heard it was just a lot of indifference toward it. And I was like, well, yeah.
I honestly believe that the fans at one point were chanting, we didn't want this.
Yeah. I never understand why they do this. It's not like a secret or something that they don't fucking want this.
And that would be my biggest problem. It's like, yeah, I enjoyed a good portion of the matches, even the pre-show stuff that you probably didn't see because nobody knew that this shit was going to start at 4 p.m. and last till 12 a.m., which is, again, dumb. God damn it, WWE, why? But it's like you had the Mustafa Ali, Cedric Alexander match was ill. You had the weird, crazy, and hilariously entertaining swerve of Bray Wyatt helping out Woken Matt win. You had to fucking barely try to do the swerve and end up losing. You had a lot of great moments, but I feel like once it got to that last hour, they just like, okay, we're just gonna do whatever the fuck we want, and the programming as far as the sequence was off to me. Yeah, but there was a lot of good matches.
I would have cut like half of them, but yeah, all good.
Yeah.
And with the NXT Takeover thing, I think it was all over a pretty positive weekend. I'm sorry that I feel bad that Reigns tried so hard to not get over, but it's not his fault. But whatever. Like,
yeah, and what's sad is that we have the Saudi Arabia thing where he probably will get over. So it's just, again, if you really do believe this guy is the next big superstar, why are you gonna possibly make him win the championship at some off?
Because I think they announced like a cell match with him and Brock, and I was like,
yeah,
you just watched that shit get booed out of the building in WrestleMania as the main event. Why? I'm sorry.
Their booking is weird.
Why can't you learn your goddamn lesson?
Vince refused to. He's gonna make you love it regardless. Which I don't know, man.
When I saw they announced that shit, I was like, you haven't had enough of these moves.
By the way, the worst moment of the night, fucking Rusev Day was spoiled.
Oh god, yeah.
Fucking Jinder Mahal. Again, shout out to Nerdpocalypse, but dude made the best analogy. Jinder Mahal has had the best year of any wrestler ever. That doesn't deserve it. Seriously. Like, and again, I'm not trying to totally shit on Jinder because I will admit this. Comparative to what he was before he made his return to WWE, when he was like with 3MB and doing that dumb shit, he is a better product. That being said, why is he being pushed to the moon just because he's from a large financial market in India? No.
I like some of the shit he does, but yeah, I think this just hates Rusev because I think we had a triple threat tonight on SmackDown to determine the number one contender, and Rusev was in it, and he did not win that match. I think Randy did, of all people. And
it's like, no, don't do that. Rusev is fucking awesome.
I feel like
especially with Aiden.
Didn't the Rusev match come like right after Asuka lost or something? It was around one of the.
It was in a weird spot. It was in
one of those spots that would have been perfect to boost the crowd back up again.
Yeah. Or if you wanted to have a deflating match, you don't do a championship match as a deflating match. You fucking put some like spot shit like that.
I guess I remember at that point feeling very deflated. So I was like, this is gonna bring me back up, and it just pulled me even further down. So
yeah.
I don't know. Overall, I thought the show was pretty good. It was a good show. The Raw and SmackDown after were pretty good too. We got Joe back. I fucking love this.
Yeah, it's funny because I didn't watch it last night, but I actually watched the promo that Joe cut on Roman Reigns, where he was like, "Yo, after Brock beats your ass, basically in Saudi Arabia, I'm gonna come for you."
After he's done ragdolling you.
Yeah, it's like, whoa, yo, he's fucking. I fucking love Samoa Joe. Oh my god.
What's that? What did he start out saying? He was like, you keep failing, whatever, and that makes you a failure. And I was like,
right. It's like, god damn, Joe, could you lighten up? Like, stop it. Like, I love fucking Joe. The fact that he dissed the fuck out of Renee.
Again,
he fucking invoked a diss on her fucking husband.
and for what, bro? It's not like this was Raw or some shit. Like,
right, they don't have a rivalry. Nah, I'm just gonna fucking talk shit about you. Fuck you.
Well, where were they? Like, they must have been like the Hall of Fame shit.
It was the Hall of Fame. Yeah, he said it. He said it during the Hall of Fame. A fake fucking moment. And again, this is why I love Joe, because he's kayfabe as much as possible. He sticks to the program of being a wrestler like you should be. We all know it's fake, sure, but no, he sticks to that shit. He's at a like fucking bougie goddamn banquet, and this man is building heat. He's fucking pissing people off. Love you, Joe. Keep doing that shit.
I'm glad he's back. I hope he takes the strap off Lesnar. I doubt it, because I guess they're gonna do this thing with Reigns.
I feel like Reigns is gonna beat him in Saudi Arabia, and Lesnar's gonna go and cry in this corner or be pissed off and throw shit in Vince's face. Like, apparently the rumor was after the match, the reveal was the match wasn't necessarily supposed to go that way, and Lesnar kind of pushed it his way. And then him and Vince got into the argument. He threw the belt at Vince and all types of shit.
Personally, I feel like they should have just let Reigns win. One,
Yeah.
not to say we don't have a part-timer, but just get it out of the fucking way. Just you shouldn't have booked yourself into this situation, but you did. Just fucking do it and get it over with. It's like, stop dragging this shit out.
Yeah,
I hope whoever ends up on top of this shit, Samoa Joe beats the living dog shit out of them and holds that belt, because this guy cannot do wrong on a fucking microphone.
Yeah, and you know what? I hope Roman doesn't win during the Arabian shit, because Joe got cheated because Brock is a like fat, undisciplined, lazy fuck now and has no stamina. Because seriously, that Brock Joe match, it would have been better if Brock actually could work or wanted to work. Whereas it was basically just Joe taking as many bumps as he could, which I didn't like that.
Yeah, just great. But again, the Raw and SmackDown after Mania, I've enjoyed more than I expected. We got see Ember Moon up, No Way Jose. Paige retired, unfortunately, but then she became the general manager of SmackDown. Got the iconic duo who beat the dog shit out of Charlotte, which allowed for the Princess of Staten Island, Carmella, to become the new champion. Fuck that Charlotte girl. Man, it's so much.
And again, it's like, well, I love the Charlotte Asuka match. It's kind of fucked up that after having Charlotte take the monumental streak away from Asuka, that she gets dogged out like this by like fucking dumb.
I mean, that beatdown was pretty vicious though. So I never found the iconic duo more iconic than that. We got Dick Shinsuke tonight, which is fat. Like Renee, walks up to him and she's like, why you do that shit? And he's like, I don't know what come over me. I'm so sorry. Like really sarcastic. And then when she calls him on it and asks for like a real answer, he's like, no, speak English, and then just walks off.
That's great. Oh man,
Dick Shinsuke is the best Shinsuke.
Yeah, this should be a good fucking feud that's gonna happen right now with that. But yeah, WrestleMania was okay. I mean, I got entertainment out of it. Again, I won't go into the things that I nitpicked about, but several things that I would say is shorten it up. It doesn't need to be 8 hours, even if you don't want to count pre-show stuff. You still were like 5 hours with the main show, because that shit started at 7. Like they started the quote unquote pre-show shit and having the analytical stuff and all that with Booker and them at 4, but WrestleMania officially, the main roster thing, started at 7 and it ended around midnight Eastern time. It's too fucking long.
I mean, yeah, I still say they should cancel like half those matches. Like, I don't think we needed either of those tag team matches, which hurts me to say, but neither was impactful. The Cena shit with Undertaker should just not have happened.
Yeah.
Or if you wanted to do it, you should have done something different than that. I should not be counting the main event, but come on. Nobody wanted to see that fucking match except Vince, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Fuck Vince. But at least I enjoyed the night, and I enjoyed having going back and forth with you. That shit was funny. And thank you for updating me on what was happening on Raw and SmackDown. Hopefully, they won't bury the new people.
Oh, fuck! I forgot. What's his name? That black dude came back.
Yeah, I saw Bobby Lashley come back and Elias. And it's funny because a friend of mine asked me about Bobby Lashley because he hadn't watched during the time he was there. And I was like, you just need to know 2 things about him. One, he sucks on the mic. He can't talk for shit. But what he does very well is he beat the shit out of people. So
I thought the 2 things were going to be that he's big and he's black. But
I mean, you could add those in the mix. But no, the fact of the matter is, like, his whole thing is I can, like, destroy you, because when he put Elias in that fucking suplex and he was just holding it up and he like got the one hand and all that's like, dude, you're fucking ridiculously cock strong, and I wouldn't want to shake hands with you because I probably would lose bones.
Oh my god, we got Brian back at WrestleMania. Fuck.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, I forgot. We got Daniel Bryan who went nuts. Yo, when he was doing the corner knees, oh my god. It's like,
he had a match tonight with AJ Styles, which was a pretty good match. It's probably better than the Nakamura match with him, but I still can't really process that we have Daniel Bryan back, but we do.
Yeah.
It's a good weekend.
It's good.
Go watch NXT TakeOver.
And I'm glad you said that he had a match with AJ because that's good. That means that they're not just necessarily just spot using him. He's being active, and hopefully they'll stick. You know,
yeah, he stopped being general manager tonight, and Paige took over because she retired, and now she's GM, and she made that match. But yeah, you gotta watch fucking TakeOver. That shit is great.
Yeah, if anything, I want to see Adam Cole, baby.
Yeah, fuck you. Did you catch that on Omega Cody match?
No, I didn't, and I find it like very petty and admirable that one, New Japan posted that this weekend, and two, they also posted the original Shinsuke AJ match before WrestleMania. This is still their thunder, and that's probably why most people are. I mean, on top of just WWE badly booking it to the build up, that kind of undercut the gravity of the match too, because it's like, yo, we're seeing their greatest performance ever together, and then we get the WWE version. It's like, yeah.
I mean, this happens consistently. This is something they need to address.
To be fair, it wasn't a bad match. Just to say that, I didn't think it was a bad match.
It just wasn't great. And you see this a lot where, like, outside of WWE, people have amazing matches, and then inside, it's like, or at least inside on the main roster, it's like, they need to address that shit.
Yeah.
I just think Cody's a great heel. The one moment I was referring to was when Cody, he got in this fan's face, and then he snatched somebody's beer, and then he, like, took a swig and, like, spit it at them. That's why I think Cody's greatness. Except this black dude fell asleep.
No, I'm not asleep. It's just that I'm sitting here trying to figure out what is WWE gonna do with the things that they said. Like, you got the Brock situation, you got fucking Jinder, which you're trying to sell him in Saudi Arabia, which is dumb. Where's I guess Ember came up because they need to give Oscar something to do now, like a reason.
I mean, Ember's on Raw though. Maybe Oscar's still on Raw.
I don't know. Oscar never left Raw. She just picked Charlotte. You know what I mean?
I actually don't know where Oscar is now.
Yeah, it's like, is she off the roster because you picked Charlotte? I feel like Oscar's still Raw.
We're having the Superstar shakeup next week, so I guess we'll see. But
and that's stupid because if they split Oscar now off of, you fucked up, because it's kind of like the Sasha Bailey thing. You know you have to have that there because that's one of your better programs, matches that you can get out of this roster. So if you take Oscar away from Ember, you kill your chances of like something great. But then again, counterpoint would be Nakamura Styles. Everybody thought that was going to be the greatest thing in the world, and
I think it could be. I feel like Dick Nakamura will have a better match.
Yeah, I think like moving on, this run will be better, but shit.
That's why I was like,
you're gonna let Nakamura go and do his insane shit, or are you just using the fact that he's a bad guy now?
I hope they do, because I was really upset at the point when Shinsuke didn't win and the match didn't go well. But as soon as he did that low blow, I was like, that's the Nakamura I want as champion. I don't want to face Nakamura as champion because it's just going to be like having AJ as champion again, just as like a Japanese AJ or whatever.
Yeah, no, Nakamura and his arrogance should be prevalent.
Yeah. We don't have too many strong heels on SmackDown anyway, so I was like, Dick Shinsuke is the one.
That many strong heels, period.
I was like, yeah.
All right, kudos to Braun also by pushing away the like New Orleans float. Fucking Braun is just out of goddamn insane.
I hated that whole situation, but
yeah, no, the match and the whole bringing Nicholas, like I understand it's cute. You want to give an employee a good moment. All right, yeah, hey, good for the kids, but now you're gonna have to have a tournament for these belts.
And you
And the
shut
bar
on the bar.
shit, yeah,
again.
in the bar again. Great tag team got shitted on.
I feel like they should break them up for real. Because like I just can't buy into these motherfuckers. Did they lose these titles to the Hardys, Dean and
the
Seth?
Hardys.
Seth and Jason Jordan, and now brought in this kid.
Yeah.
They lose every time.
A kid who Braun proclaimed, "Come back when you graduate, and we'll get the belts back." And Kurt Angle sanctioned a match for the 2029 on the 18th fucking December. I mean January.
That shit is great. Nicholas has a scheduling conflict. He's still in the 4th grade.
Keep your grades up, and you get to be WWE champion. Awesome.
I like that shit, but kind of good shows across the weekend. Cody's dick of the week for me.
Yeah, I guess
for all the negativity, there's a lot of why the fuck is Carmella? Never mind. I don't care.
We will talk about that later, but let's wrap this up because it's getting late. I need to be up early. It's almost 1 a.m. And I am getting tired. So thank you again, everybody, for joining us. Thank you, Katina, for joining us, being a co-host. Thank you, Cardiac, for always being here. And entertaining.
Oh.
You're awesome. By the way, I did pre-order this Spider-Man collectible. I put $25 down, so I go pick it up at GameSpot. It comes out. The game better not suck, even though I only bought this collector's item for the fucking statue and the artwork and all that.
I'm still playing through the first Infamous, so
nice,
productive. But all right,
nice. But again, thank you everybody for watching. We appreciate you guys for checking us out. Any parting words to the people, sir? Any books suggestions, if you have any?
No, not this week. I think we should just enjoy that it was WrestleMania weekend and
exactly. And we got to see like Undertaker put his nuts in John Cena's face. It's priceless. We won't go into details on that, people. But thank you again. We appreciate you, and we will see you on the next episode of the Reason Reborn. Peace.